A very good morning and good evening, everyone. Welcome back. In our last session, we were discussing about the very basics of how we how we want to proceed. By the way, so just to quickly recall in few minutes that what we have discussed in our last session. So we have discussed that a certain market is actually giving us certain roles or certain jobs. By the way, and where we are getting the job is from the software development market. So this role is actually giving us the job. So when you talk about software development, not only the not only the product-based companies, there are other companies who actually writes the code as well. So for an example, even if you go to some business companies like a manufacturing or e-commerce or commerce, okay, or you go for banking, okay, financial tech. So these all people will write the code according to their business notes. So not only just make the product-based companies making the products, by the way. So everyone makes the business code or write the code for their business generally, right? In all these areas, SDLC is there. Now, in this SDLC, so we are going to manage the applications, and this manage the applications is applications which is running on some servers. Our roles and responsibilities will be starting from the server, because our role is actually about managing the infrastructure, is all about releasing some application on the server so that the end user will access it, and maintaining its security, okay, and do things with automation, right? So that's where it is. Yeah. So everything is pointing towards to the server. So we need to understand how these servers will work and all, right? So the server operating systems majorly uses Linux OS, and out of Linux, there are wide variety of Linuxes are available. RHL from Red Hat is the most widely used in enterprise world, and we are going to go for RHL 9 and RHL. And in RHL, we have two versions, which is RHL 8 and 9. We'll go for RHL 9 version. And the next is we are going to run this particular RHL 9 somewhere. Okay, you can do it in your desktop, by the way. Okay, but I'm not interested in that. So because if I go into the desktop, so that's not the way that we run in the organization. So there is no, so there is no, it's like, this is not the right way that you work in the organization, right? So there's no way that things do in the desktop. So in desktop is given to you for a development purpose. That much only you do. You don't run the VMs and all generally. Okay. So that's where this is not the right way. And also in companies, they may be having their own data centers, own servers where you can install as well. So most of the companies are hybrid, I told. So you may find, so the servers, which is your own clouds, your own servers rather than the cloud, by the way. But alternatively, what we have is, training also, it's all about cloud-based training. So that's where we will take a VM from the cloud and we'll use it directly. And that's where I asked everyone to create a cloud account. So today I'm going to show how to create a virtual machine, by the way. Okay. So I just logged into my AWS account. Okay, so here, you see. So this is my AWS account, and here when you log in, I already gave you one URL, the GitHub URL. I think I forgot to drop email to everyone again. Okay. I'm putting in the chat once again, this chat. So this is the URL, github.com/Raghu DevOps B85 is what is the name. Pinned in the chat. So please bookmark that URL, because everything you have. You have the syllabus, you have the killer coda URL where you have the basic, this Linux documentation is available directly there. So you can use that. The next is Miro, the diagram, whatever I have written also, you can see that directly, you can open it. So I'll open it in incognito window. So the diagrams or the mind map, whatever I'm drawing, you should be able to see it actually directly here. So it is asking you to sign in as a private board. to view the content, please sign in now. No, it's not a private board. Let me see. What is this? The new thing. Let me click on sign up. Let me see what it will tell. Or on the board as a visitor, which gives only view access. Okay, there may be, I think earlier it used to be, directly without login, you'll be able to view. So now I think I just need to, do a sign up and open it. Okay, fine. That's also accessible. And this is the account sign up video. Hope every one of you were able to access the, able to set up the uh, AWS account. Okay. So if not, I will also, any challenges by the way. So we will address this. Just give me a sec. Just give me a sec. So from today, if you have any questions, you can start attending the lab sessions. And so there are timings by the way for it, which is 1 p.m. to 9 p.m. IST. Okay, so please, if you're in another time zone, please convert those times according to your time zone. Okay, so, but only it is available during that time. So if you join before and after, people will not be available to support you. Okay. All right. Now going back here, if you have any issues on your AWS account and all, we can help you there. So any sign up failures by any reason. Okay. And the sign up link also is mentioned. So I'm hope we're done here. So now we need to log into the AWS. So this is the URL. You can open the URL. You should be able to enter your email address and you should be able to log in. So whatever the email address you used, you can log in with that email. Okay. So you'll be able to log in. All right. So now this is the basic dashboard that you will get it, by the way. So once you log in. Now, I can directly go and create the servers, but before to that, you need to understand one small thing that, okay, one small thing that, okay, Amazon offers their services in different countries, by the way, or different regions we call it up. So different countries, they will offer the data centers or their services in different countries. There are a couple of reasons for that. One reason is the GDPR, okay, the data policy, by the way. So GDPR. So the GDPR in General Data Protection regulation, by the way. So this policy tells that a certain are the companies who is operating in that country, they can't take the country's data outside of that country. Okay, so for an example, let's say I have a bank business. Now I want to go to the cloud. If I go to the cloud, now there's a government comes into picture and tells that, okay, now the bank actually collects the data of the people, which is PII data, personal identity information data, like your PAN card or Aadhaar card, or maybe like countries like US, it is a green card information, your social security number, okay, such details. So they should not go out of the country. Okay, so that's where they have to set up the data center locally. Then only they can able to do the business. So that is one of the major reason. And there's even another bigger reason for that is another bigger reason that they offer data centers nearby in the different countries is because my business, okay, by the way, the people is from this country, and if the data center, if I'm hosting in US, by the way, the people who is sitting in, like, let's say, hundreds and thousands of miles away, they face the network latency. Okay, so that means apps will be slow and all. That should not happen, right? So that is the reason. So generally, like any cloud provider, so they'll try to offer the data centers from that countries itself. Okay. Now, out of this, by the way, so we will pick up North Virginia. Okay. So North Virginia, why North Virginia? There is no reason, simple. It's they're one of the first region, I would say. Okay. So that is a reason. And since that is a reason, I have been using the same reason. And I'll offer some image in this particular region, which is available only in this region. Okay. So that is, so in order you to create a machine, you require a operating system. That operating system I will offer from my side for this particular training. Okay, which will help us in learning the things in a better way. Okay, but later anyhow, we have a concept of how to make this image and all. So we'll talk about that later. That's okay. But to start with, I'll offer something. We'll start using. Okay, so that's where North Virginia is our choice, and we have to choose one region. So always make sure when you log in, you're in North Virginia. And whenever you log in, by the way, so in your landing page, so you will be offered certain information. One of the major information that you need to look in here is your cost usage, by the way. How much is your cost? Like I told, so $10 to $20 is your range. That depends upon the usage, right? So why? Because I'm getting $10, $20 is because I hardly use it for 1.5 hours to 2 hours of time per day, right? And so that means I'm getting some $10 average bill. But if you go beyond that, let's say maybe 3 hours, 4 hours, you're doing the practice, a little higher it will come, right? So $20, something like that. So that's where I was telling that. So $20, $20 to $30 on an average, you need to pay to Amazon. Okay. So that's how it is. Okay. So every day you try to check, okay, how much is your current bill month, and always try to follow the best practices that I mentioned, so that you will not, end up in paying more bill, by the way. Okay. So always just follow the instructions a bit carefully. That should be fine. Okay. All right. So this is what our starting point. And inside this, Amazon offers different services actually. So under compute service, so there is a virtual machine service which they offer is called as EC2. EC2 is one of their foundational services. So that means when Amazon started, there are two services or three services which was there. By the way, EC2 is one of that. Okay. So to that extent, it was that world. Okay. So the first service, which is if you want a virtual machines in Amazon, you have EC2. We'll be clicking on here and you go to the compute. So there are different services which are available. Across our training, you will learn some 10 to 15 services in between, okay, somewhere, okay, for us to complete this. So this way, I'll be going to EC2 and I click on EC2 and you will see that, so there are instances running is 0 and all mostly 0 other than something snapshot. It should not be actually. I didn't clean it up from my previous batch. So this was the one which is actually billing me. So this was from my previous batch. And if I logged in, why I was getting bill actually was due to that only. So I was getting some minor bill, some $2. I didn't use it at all for this month. I mean, okay, so that's okay. All right, that's okay. Mostly it should show 0, by the way. But there should be one thing which should show is the security group as 0, but it is not doing 0. Mostly if you are logged in, so you will get some default thing. I think I cleaned up something because of when I'm done with the batch, I clean up all the things. Let me just get it done. I'll show you how it looks like. Give me a sec. Yeah. So it may show, one security group. That's it. When you log in, so this is where it will show all zeros, but you have one security group. It's okay. Now we will go and start creating a machine. But before to that, so what is that we discussed is we wanted to have an AWS account. We create an AWS account. And if not done also, please, every one of you need to create your AWS account in order to do the practice. And once you log into the AWS account, so we'll be choosing North Virginia region. Okay. So because the image or the lab image which I offer, the OS which I offer is actually available in this, which will help you in doing the training in a better way. Okay. So we'll follow certain standards. Now you can also get the images, which is actually, which is offered by Amazon, by the way. Those are bare machines, which is provided. You need to do a lot of customizations. Okay. Eventually, but I already did the customizations. And how to do that customization, we'll talk this later. But what customizations you need to do also, we'll talk later. But there are certain customizations which is done to make your life easy. Okay. And not only to make your life easy, so it's followed certain standards. It follows certain standards. Okay. So what are those standards and all, you will come to know, but that's the image we'll offer. So from there, we'll create the machines. Okay. We'll choose North Virginia. We'll create the machines here. So that's where we're going to start. So any questions before proceeding here? No questions? Okay, cool. So then let's get the instance starting. Okay. So what is, how do I create the machine is? It's very simple. Click on launch instance. Okay. And so you need to find out an image to create your machine, by the way. So what is an image? The machine which you are creating is not a physical server. Let's go back and understand. So there is a few things here. So that which is, a machines which we are getting created. So those are not a physical machine. Those are physical machine. Okay. So this is actually a rack server, right? So this is what I told. So what is a rack server? So the server that sits inside the racks inside the data center is the rack server, right? So this is the rack server. Now inside this, these are all very big boxes. Okay. Now for running small applications. Now why are we running small applications? I already set you the context, right? So what is the context I set you? That today's world, we are going more towards microservices. We're not going for monolith applications. We're going towards microservices. Microservices means those are all very small services. Now to run very small service, I can't go for a big physical machine. Okay, it's of unnecessary cost and unnecessary space also on the data center, right? So we need to work on something better. So that's where a tech has been evolved in this particular area, which is called as a virtual machine. Okay, so virtual machine. Now, what is virtual machine? A machine which is created on top of a physical hardware. Okay, so so let me copy this to help you in managing multiple machines on the same hardware. I'll be having the same hardware, let's say physical machine. So today's virtual world is you have a physical machine, and on top of that, you'll install a software called as hypervisor. Okay. So the hypervisor is the one which will enable you to create a virtual machines. Okay. Hypervisor is a software which will help you to enable to create virtual machines. Now you create a virtual machine. So that means you start isolating the resources that you have, like CPU, memory, hard disk, and all. So you will start giving it to some application. You create it and you start chunking it according to your needs. Okay. Now Amazon also offers EC2 and Amazon. Okay. So Amazon EC2 uses Xen. Okay. There's a famous virtualization utilization. The famous virtualization softwares is there. Okay. So famous virtualization hypervisors. Who are the guys actually? Who are the players in this area? Okay. So if you look in, so the first generally goes is okay. VMware is one of the widely used in the private clouds, but in the public clouds it is mostly like so Citrix Xen open source or uh, Xen open source or paid version of Citrix. Okay, these two guys. I mean, this is the mostly in my knowledge. By the way, Xen is the widely used one. Okay, because a lot of data centers uses Xen in the open source way. Okay, and yeah, so and after that, VMware has their own and all right. So these are the famous guys which are available, right? I'll put like this. So now there are different vendors who offers this one. Now Amazon primarily uses Xen, by the way. Okay, to create this hypervisor VMs and all. So they go with Xen. Where did I write this? So Amazon uses Xen for their VM technology. It's just knowledge only. That's okay. Okay. Now using this, okay, we are actually, so there, when you actually go to the UI and click machine in Amazon, you're always getting is a virtual machine, not a physical machine. You can also get the physical machines, but we don't have a need for that, right? Generally. Okay. Which is also too costly, right? So, which we don't need it. So we'll leave it. Okay, so this is how, okay, I am going to create a machine and an EC2 box is a virtual machine. Now this virtual machine, okay, in order to power it up, is already a virtual, okay, you need to have, in this is a virtual technology, by the way, you need to have some sort of an image to boot it up. Okay, for example, how do you install your laptop? Maybe you download some ISO file, you load your USB, right? So USB, or earlier we used to have CD-ROMs and all. Now you load that, ISO file into your USB, and you will put that particular USB, you'll boot from USB so that your installation will start and all, right? Now this is all virtual world, not a physical machine to do that all work and all. So which is basically like, you have a package available, which is a virtual image will be available. using that image, okay, you can directly power on the machine. Okay, so this is all much matured way, by the way. Okay, so that you can power it on much faster. Okay, now Amazon also offer that images, and they are calling it as, they named it as Amazon machine image, which is also like a Xen image behind the scene. So Xen has imaging technology, so they use as the same. Okay, nothing more than that. All right. So now, in order to create your machine, you need to choose certain image, by the way. Okay. Now they offer certain images. Now Amazon Linux also copied Red Hat code once. They're not continuously copying, by the way. So they copied it once and they're doing their own development. Okay. But however, you also have Mac OS, Ubuntu, Red Hat, and all. So these are all base OS. You will get it. You'll not get any customization as per the standards of the industry. Okay. So that's where, okay, so we had our own image. Now, what all those customizations we'll see later. So now you have to go to the browse for more AMIs. So to find out our AMI. Okay, this is the AMI which I offer. You go to the community AMIs. Okay, so in the community AMIs, you search for something called as DevOps-practice. Okay, enter. So recently Amazon has screwed this search, by the way. So they are very slow. Yeah, this is becoming very slow actually. This has become very slow. Recently only, very just a couple of months back, they screwed this new UI. Okay, I don't, anyhow, it will come, but it will take longer time. So I don't want to waste our time in that particular aspect. Okay. So now even if you search also, you get the same thing, but you can also get it in a different way also, the AMI, and you can launch an instance in a different way as well. So you can go to the left side AMIs. Okay. Okay. And you can search for all the public images. So which you can also search here, which is DevOps-practice. Ideally, it will be little bit faster here. Not too great again. It was a little bit faster here. So this also, end of the day, you get an image. And once you get an image, you click on that launch instance from an AMI, we'll pick it up. Okay. Now, why to do all this struggle? So because there are wide variety of, so many accounts, so many images, is becoming a bit slow. I'll give you a direct URL, by the way. So now you go to the same GitHub again. You have a direct image URL also is available. Okay. You directly click on it. It will take you to that. It will give you this image. This is being narrowed search by using my account ID. So which is offer the image. I'm using this image owner. I'm able to find it out a bit faster. Now there is RHL 9 and CentOS 8. We have two images. So we'll be using RHL 9 and you click on that and click launch instance from AMI. Okay. And after that, so then you will be going with nothing. Just click on launch instance on the right side. Okay, once again, I'm closing this, going back to the GitHub. So you have a direct URL. And you click on this and you go for RHL 9, launch instance from AMI, and click on launch instance. That's it. They'll ask you to, so okay, do you want to proceed with a key pair? No, I don't want it. Okay. And just click on launch instance. That's it. So now I'll go for view all instances. So you get one instance up and running. Now this instance has generally will have two addresses, by the way. So one is public address, which you should access that from public side. But also generally you have down, if you click on, you have private instance, a private IP address also. What is this? We'll talk about this later in the networking session in this week only. mostly. But yeah, so here is the public address. Using this public IP address, you should be connecting. So how you should connect? Okay, so is all launch instance also all the documentation is given here. So once you got the instance, by the way, now we need to connect to the instance. If you are using Mac OS like me, you will use one inbuilt terminal like this. Or else, if you are using some putty software, or if you are using Windows, okay, you use one software called as putty. And if any one of you are already comfortable using any other software, feel free to use. Or if you're first time, if you are using, maybe just start with this tool. Maybe later I'll give you some better tool for multiple tabs and all later. Okay. But for now, to start with, you can download this tool. Now, once you open this particular tool, okay, you just need to, like in Mac OS, I'll be entering like this: SSH username, okay, @ my IP address, okay, and it will ask for some yes or no, you type yes, and the password you need to enter. Okay. Now, if you are Windows, by the way, you just download the putty, open that putty in the downloads, by the way, enter public IP address here, okay, and click on open. And you will be prompted for the username and password. So the username and password is already given on the top. Username is EC2-user, and the password is DevOps321. It's case sensitive. Capital D, capital O here. Here it is all small characters. Okay. So since I'm using the Mac OS, so what I'll do is I'll take the public IP address of this instance. I'll go to this terminal, SSH EC2-user @ this IP address. Enter. Now it usually asks for yes or no. I bypassed it, and that's okay. And it should ask for the password, that I bypassed it with some settings in my system. That's okay. So I'm able to log in. So since you logged into the machine, you got a command prompt. And like yesterday I was mentioning, Linux is all about command prompt. You get a command. Okay. I was explaining yesterday, Linux is natively command line OS. We have many reasons for that, right? So I have explained a couple of things, by the way. So Linux is a command line native. We deal everything with the command line. We learn commands from now on. So that's the thing to start with. Okay. So I will just terminate this machine. I'll explain this process one more time, and I'll take any questions if you have. So just okay, I don't want this machine anymore. Let's say instance. I'll say delete, terminate, delete instance, terminate it. Okay, it will be gone. Now, once again, I'll go to this one. So there is a direct image URL. Go here, click on this, and choose for RHEL9, launch instance from an AMI. Okay, so you got it. And here, when you actually click on launch instance, is asking for some key pair and all, right? I don't want that key pair. You can say that proceed without a key pair also directly here, and launch instance. So view all. So the instance is in pending state. It should come to the running state. You just need to give some 30 seconds to 1 minute of time. It will not take that much also, but let's give some 30 seconds of time. It should come to the running state. Yeah, I refreshed. So I just got it at a running state as well. So now I'll go to the prompt, SSH EC2-user @. So the machine is not up yet. Like I mentioned, just wait for some 30 seconds to 1 minute of time. Then we should be able to. Yeah, so machine is slowly coming up. It started responding. So now, finally, I'll be able to log into that system. Okay, so this is how I log into the system. So from here, I wanted to manage this operating system. I wanted to learn Linux, or we'll learn Linux because I need to manage this. So what are the commands which is necessary needed for that? We will learn that. Yeah. Any questions before proceeding?
Hey, hi Raghu.
Yeah.
Raghu, the thing is, I'm using my organizational's Mac OS, Mac actually. So is it
And
I can do it on the terminal on this system?
yeah, unless until your system is blocking by any reason, you can
Mm.
always.
Okay, I'll just check that. Thanks, Raghu.
Not able to hear you, Sridevi. Moving on.
Raghu, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, Raghu. So we can connect to the instance directly from the terminal, right? Like-
If you are using Mac OS, you have inbuilt terminal. Yes. If you are using Windows, you download a software called as Putty, which is given.
Okay.
And the Putty UI will be like this. A screenshot is given here. So once you open, so the yellow marked one, you need to enter the IP address and click on open. It prompt from some yes or no. You just accept that. Okay. And then
Oh,
your username, instead of example here, you enter as EC2-user, and in the
okay.
password, enter DevOps 321. You should be able to
Oh,
log
okay. I'm using so Mac, so I can directly connect through my terminal, right?
in. Yeah.
Oh,
Hey Raghu, I'm using Windows, and I think for Putty, I'm getting the default user because I'm using my organization laptop. So how do we change the user ID itself?
You download the new Putty. Ideally, it should not ask you. Or else you can go for alternative Putty. There is a sister for Putty as well, which is Kitty. You download Kitty.
Okay,
Both are same only. So Putty and Kitty. You download this, it will not pick up the Putty settings. Still remaining process remains.
okay, thanks.
If you still have issues, just join the lab session sometime today. We'll see.
Hi Raghu.
Yeah.
Um, what if like I have like WSL on my window? Do I
It's your
still?
choice, not mine. It's all about how, if you know some other alternative process, no need to discuss at all. If you're already comfortable, there is no discussion. It's only for beginner.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, hi Raghu. So for Windows, Git Bash or mobile system also fine to use, right?
That's what I'm telling. Client is your choice. I don't mind. It's only for a person who doesn't know how to connect. If you already know, there's no discussion needed.
Okay, Raghu. So here we used username and password to log in here.
Correct.
So I didn't get how to set a password.
So yeah, so in organization, when you join an organization, you will have a username password of your account to log into the server. Just assume you got a company server and you're logging with your username and password. It's as simple as that. And how to set up a password and all is anyhow the Linux commands, by the way. You'll go through that.
Okay. I have one more doubt here. Like every time we need to log into AWS account or how? Like if I have a server running and anyway, the IP is going to create every time, right? The public IP.
Correct.
So every time I need to go log into the AWS account.
Yes, you need to.
Yeah, sure. Thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions? yeah, I was surprised that no one asked about, okay, I am hoping like no one has done some AWS codes. So they generally show you the key pair of way of authentication. Okay. So in when actually they create the server on AWS and all, so which is not the practice of organizations. Okay. In organizations, okay. Actually, so if you install any operating system, the default setup is username and password. Key pair is a customized one. Okay. So the question should go to them, that whoever has told the key pair. So generally the question should go to them. So when you actually install, like let's say you take laptop, Windows laptop, we're nowhere using keys, right? Okay. So you're logging with username password only. The same thing happens to the server also. When we join the organization, we are going to have a username and password, okay, given to us. I'll use the same username and password. I will log into all my accounts, including servers, by the way. So today you're in a mature world where we talk about no login to the servers in the very first place, avoid logins to the servers. But anyhow, even though someone ever need to log in also, they should be login always through their username and password. Okay. So this is how, the world runs, by the way. So the enterprise world runs, especially. The key pair and all is not the way that you do it. Okay. So because the same key pair is used by every person, where is the security? Tomorrow someone did some damage to a live production server and everyone using the same machine, same key and logging to the machine. Now 10 engineers are there in the organization. Now how do I identify who has done that? It's not a practice. Okay. So, but there is a reason that how Amazon went into that direction, why we went into that direction. If someone is interested, you can read that journey. Okay. So I'm not sure you'll find out that information also in the searches properly, but there should be somewhere. Okay. If I'm not wrong. Otherwise, we can maybe in some lab session, we can discuss one day. That's okay. But yeah, there is a history for that. Okay. Why they went, but the other clouds are there. Like, you go with Azure and all, they essentially give you the username password also option also generally. Okay, they'll make the choice because they came later and they know the problems of the key pair, and as well as Microsoft is little matured company in a way in terms of enterprise policies than Amazon is more like startup kind of a company, right? So today also, like, if you look at the security aspects, Amazon is very, very poor comparing with at least the Azure aspect, okay, on the security only. But the product features and all, Amazon stands friend, that's okay. But yeah, so Amazon is by natively is not a security driven company from their mindset perspective. Okay, so this is all open discussions only. Okay, so that's where so step back. So servers, always you log in with username and password, with your username and password. Okay, that you get an email address, you have a username and password. The same username and password you will use to log into the the same username and password you log into the server. Okay. So then, okay, like this. So for an example, in this screenshot, there is a reason that I have given using this screenshot. The user entered, his name is example. Okay. Now this machine is Active Directory integrated. Okay. And what happened, by the way? So it automatically asking the username password of example@jasper.dreamhost.com. Let's say if I'm working in Google, I entered as username as my username as Raghu. It will ask me, like, let's say raghu@google.com, enter the password because I belong to that domain. Okay, my username has to be whoever logs in from that company's domain only. Okay, if I'm working for XYZ company, they have xyz.com domain. Inside my email address is raghu@xyz.com. Now, while I'm logging into the server, I give Raghu, then it will ask me, you enter the password of raghu@xyz.com. You don't need to give that full @ and off. Okay, so the server is already integrated with that. You enter the password, it will pick up the password that what you are entering for your email automatically. And if you are allowed, you will log in. You're not allowed, you're not allowed. As simple as that. Okay, there are certain standards, so that you do in the enterprise organizations. Okay, so going back to the actual line of discussion. So we able to launch the machine, and we should be starting the practice of Linux. And all the Linux documentation, I kept it in the killer coda. So here, So we'll keep killer code on the side. So there is a 2 sections we'll deal here in this first week, Linux basics and administration. And whenever you have some time, you have some, couple of days, you have some leisure time and you wanted to do some learning, you consider about learning extra commands also. There are some good commands as well. Sometimes it becomes handy. May not be using a day-to-day activity. So I just added some 60 commands, top 60 commands thing. I don't know, this is ready also. Initially, I thought like I'll make 50. I couldn't able to do it in 50. And I did it in 60, I think. I did not complete this actually. This project is yet to be completed. It's okay. So I'll go to the Linux basics and administration. So don't bother about the right side, because right side we already have the prompt and our own server. So we don't need to use the killer code thing. So just ignore that. That should be fine. So we'll be starting here. So you can click on start. You will start the things. Your command line prompt tells you certain information, by the way. By seeing the prompt itself, you'll see some information. What is the information that you will see is, what is the username you logged in? It just shows the prompt. And what is the name of the system? Every system will have a name. IP address is also there. The name also will be there. Okay, the name also is there, which is given to this. Okay, so that means google.com is a name you're using, but google.com is not the real address of the system. The real address of the system is an IP address. Okay, so for an example, if I give ping google.com, you're thinking that you're reaching google.com, but it's actually translating to an address. Okay, an IP address. We just used an IP address. That's it. But you can also use a name as well. Okay. Now, in this prompt, you will start executing some commands. What are the commands it is? Okay, you'll start executing the commands. So for an example, okay, you go with some basic command. What is that command also doesn't matter. Well, let's understand how do you execute a command. You type the command and enter. Now, what is the command I typed? Uname, or whatever it is, by the way, it is doing some work. Okay, so it is giving you some output, by the way. Now in the command line terminal, the first argument which you provide over here is a command. Okay, and it may generate, you execute any command. Okay, by the way, it may generate some output like this. Okay, any command you execute, it may or may not generate the output, depends upon the command anyhow. But you execute a command, you may expect some output as well. Okay, so to start with, but these commands enhances their functionality, okay, by providing some options also. Okay, now uname is telling this is just a Linux box, but whereas uname -i will tell me, okay, whether this is a 64-bit operating system or some ARM or whatever it is, a different type of a hardware, is an Intel hardware or some other hardware, it will tell me. So now uname -i is telling me x86_64 means it's an Intel hardware, Intel processor generally, Intel or AMD processor you can consider. So x86 hardware. Okay. So today's world, so you have a lot of their own customized processors as well. Like Amazon has their own processor. Okay. And, Mac has their own processor. Windows have their own processor. So like people have their own processors also. You may see different things. To understand that's an Intel hardware. Okay. This is the one. So because when you're installing the software, you need to make sure, okay, so which software you need to install. Okay. For an example, I want to install a software which is a Jenkins software. Jenkins as a software that I wanted to install. Jenkins download, something like that. I don't know whether these guys are offering the ARM. No. Or let me just try to use something like this. Okay, IntelliJ download, not for Linux, by the way. If I go for download of IntelliJ, So they'll tell you, so whether you want to download for Intel or Apple processor like this, so they'll offer different software for different hardware. The same way, Linux also, you will find the same thing. So RPM such, you have certain things where you find the Linux packages here. So if I give nginx, you search for that. Okay. Now, when you want to download this package, now you need to find out, okay, which package that you need to download. It is showing x86_64. So that means it is an Intel hardware with 64-bit, by the way. Okay. Now this is i586 you're seeing, which is also Intel hardware, but this is a 32-bit. This is a 32-bit, by the way. There is a 32-bit and 64-bit world also, you have it in the hardware. So that means essentially so the name itself is telling you. So the motherboard, the channel, there are 32 bits only can travel. But a 64-bit is basically 64 bits can travel. Servers will always be 64-bit. It's been a decade that, so 32-bit died, even in mobiles also. Okay. In mobiles also, these are all 64 bits only. Okay. So now that is how you need to choose, which one you are downloading. And the same way, you will find some ARM something. I don't know, is there any? Nginx, that link star. Or let's directly download from internet, Nginx ARM. So you can see this. These are all ARC64. These are all ARM processors. So that means customized, processors you have like this. So when you find, okay, so you need to understand what hardware it is. So that's where this uname is helping you. Like -I am asking, it is telling me something. So that means uname command or any command, by the way, optionally they offer or they extend their support, or extend certain features, extended support by using options. You'll be using some options. Command have its own options, and options will be so some commands will have -h, or sorry, hyphen character is a single character, options will be there, or hyphen single word options will be there, or hyphen single word options also will be there. So that all depends upon the command to command. Okay. So for an example, uname -i you are having, or uname -a I'm having, and uname -, all also I'm having. Okay. So like this. Now, for anyone, it is very difficult to remember the options, right? So that's where the internet will help you. Okay. A system also will help you. But today's world, I don't think so anyone is blocking the internet in any of the companies. Okay. Even like high secure companies also. I seriously doubt who is blocking the, the internet basic internet things. Okay. So with that belief, okay, I'm telling you, you go to the internet and search for manual uname Linux, you type, you get a beautiful documentations here. So you click on this uname, you can get from command line also, you can get it, but rather than from the command line, it is easy to search here and read it here in the browser. Okay. So that's where I always suggest, and I always do at least, so go and read it here. Now -a, which is also equivalent to -- all, either of the way is actually going to show all the information. It is telling. Okay. Like this. Any command, you can't remember all the options. Generally, over a period of time, with common or some common options that you do every day, by the way, you may remember, but some you eventually can't remember everything. So that's where documentation is the help, by the way. So you need to read the documentation. Okay. So that is how it is. Now, some commands are there which also expect some inputs also. Now, ls command is not giving anything. Now, whereas ls, if I give /boot, it works on something and gives you something. So there's an input I'm providing. This is not an option I'm providing. There's an input. Okay, ls, get me something of this. What is ls? I don't know. Also, let's keep it that way. So command your ls, this is your input. You're telling that, and ls is not giving any input, but whereas it is giving some output now. Okay, that means you're changing the behavior of ls command by providing some input, by the way. Right? ls has some default behavior, and you're changing its behavior, default behavior, by providing it. Now you're not stopped there yet, by the way. So you can also use an option with a combination of input as well. A command individually you can access, you can execute. A command with an option you can execute. A command with input you can execute. A command with input and command also you can option also you can execute. All three options. I mean, these two options combinedly also you can provide. But you always need to understand what you are providing, what you're asking. So you need to give that consciously. Okay, but what is this command doing? Absolutely no bother. You just need to understand how the commands are. Okay. This is how the command introduction. So you need to execute a command. A command may have some options, depends upon your requirement. You need to look for some options, and commands may require some inputs. I'm saying may because every command will not require input. Some commands may require inputs. So you need to understand that command, whether you need to provide input or not. You need to decide and give that consciously. And since we're talking about the introduction command line, so there are also ways to execute multiple commands also in the single command line. So now ls I can give and uname I can give. Okay, so ls hyphen d of, let's say, /boot, because ls is not giving any output. So I'm just giving ls hyphen d of /boot. So now I'm getting so /boot output, and as well as Linux out. So this is coming from uname and this is coming from ls. So that means you can use semicolon between two commands. So the two commands will execute just one after another. First command is executed. After it is done, it will go for second command. That's it. There is no logic involved in that. Whereas you can also bring some logic in such a way that I wanted to execute one command, depends upon the scenario. Like, I wanted to execute my first command, and then I wanted to execute my second command only if my first command is successful. Okay, I wanted to execute one command, and second command I want to execute only if my first command is successful. Now let's say enter. So now I'm getting /boot and Linux, same behavior you're getting, but technically it is doing something else, by the way. So for an example, if I give /boot1, now you will get no such file or directory boot1, but uname command is not getting executed. Your first command is a failure, so that's where it is never going to the second command. Whereas if your requirement is execute the second command, you just look from the right hand side, second command only, the logic is easier. Okay. So semicolon tells that, you can execute the second command after first command, irrespective of whether it is a failure or successful, doesn't matter. But whereas and is telling that you execute the second command only if first command is successful. And there is another command which is telling, okay, double pipe, or there's another option, double pipe. This double pipe is telling that you execute the second command only after your first command is success. First command is failure. Whereas and is for success, pipe is or, we call is or is for failure. So now my first command is actually failing, which is ls-d of /boot1. Boot1 doesn't exist. It is marked as a failure because it can't do this job because it can't do its job because that directory doesn't exist. It marked as a failure. And that's where it is going for the second command. So here in this case, uname is not getting executed. In this case, it is executing. So just try to blindly remember the logic from the second command. It will be easier. Now, semicolon telling that irrespective of your, so the status of your previous command, you execute. And now, whereas and symbol is, if your first command is successful, then only execute second command. If first command is failure, then only execute the second command. You'll get these logics generally. Okay. So because now let's say I wanted to, let's say I'll give you a simple example. I want to execute two commands. I want to backup something. And after that, I want to remove the source of the file if the backup is successful. Then, I cannot use semicolon, by the way, right? If my first command is successful, then only I want to remove the source file, right? First, my backup is successful, then only I want to remove the source file. So then in that case, semicolon, I can't use it because even though backup fails, it will go for executing the second command. It's a problem. So that's where some logically, you will combine multiple commands. It depends upon your comfort, or else you wait until the backup is completed and you execute the second command manually on your choice. As simple as that. Okay. So it's okay. But yeah, these are general, things that we use also. You can combine multiple commands. So just to revise, by the way, your command prompt, you will execute the command, and a command may have inputs and command may also have options, and options you can always search from the internet, whatever the command you are learning. Okay. And every command you don't need to remember. Okay. Certain general regular commands you will always remember. Okay. It's just in the matter of time, maybe let's say 2-3 weeks of time while you're practicing daily, everyday Linux, some options you naturally remember. Okay. It's not a big deal. And also you can combine multiple commands as also in the command line. Okay. So first command after second command, and second command will get executed irrespective of first command, then semicolon. Second command to be executed if my first command is successful, and second command need to be executed only if my first command is a failure, then pipe symbol. So this is the introduction to the command line to start with. With this knowledge, we'll go and start learning the Linux commands. Right? Does it make sense? Any questions before proceeding? I don't see hands. Moving on. So the next is the directory structure that you need to understand. So before actually entering into the operating system also, so it is easy for you to, if you actually just visualize or understand how the directory structure will be there in Linux, comparing with Windows, that which you are already aware of. Okay, so Linux directory structure, if you compare with Windows, it all starts in C drive, right? Operating system starts in C drive. Inside C drive, just unable to hear you. Unable to hear you, Sriyash. Okay, moving on. So in Windows, everything starts in C drive. So in C drive, you'll find C drive user, C drive Windows. Okay, many directories are there. Okay, so like that. In Linux also, it starts with the /. Okay, and it's as simple as that. Unix world, actually they started with /, and in Windows world, which is in Windows guys, actually they started after Unix world. Okay, they just picked the /. By the way, that's it. In Windows, that's where in Windows prompt, if you'll all see Windows prompt. So you'll always see the / generally. You're seeing backslashes here, right? /. But whereas Linux, you'll always see is /. Okay. Now // is the main first one single / is called as the root of your folder tree. Okay. Root of your system tree, by the way. So that means it is actually starting here. Under that, you have certain, it's just a tree structure only. Okay. So under / you have many things. That's the idea. So under / you have many things. So here in Linux, we have a root directory. Okay, the root. Root means just a common Englishish manner only. Root means where it is starting, right? So that is called as /. That is called as /. Under // you'll find out all the directories of your all the directories of your Linux operating system. So each and every directory has its own purpose. Same like Windows. Windows also, you go for C drive, Windows you open, you will see a hell lot of directories. And do we need to really bother about all those things? May not be. isn't it? So Linux also the same thing. So there'll be a lot of directories, but not like vast, like there is not unstructured vastness like Windows, by the way. There's already okay some context to that. And whenever if you are really interested, okay, so there's already a link I have given, so which explains what is a directory, which directory in Linux, what they do, and what is its purpose. Okay, whenever you find some leisure time, so you can just go through that, or when you're practicing today, maybe after the session, so you can go through that and explore this. Okay, so in Linux, it is preferred not to give any spaces in the file names and folder names that you create later. Okay, in Linux, all files are case sensitive. Okay, in Linux, all files and directories are case sensitive. That means Windows, it is not a case sensitive. In Windows, you create a file called as sample.txt. Okay, and you try to create another file with the same name with all caps, by the way, sample.txt with all capital S and all, both are same in Windows. You can't create that. I'm not sure how many of you are aware of it, right? Windows, let's say you try to create new folder and you give that NEW. Okay, now you try to create another folder and you keep like, capital NEW, all caps. It will not allow. Okay, but Linux is not like that. Linux is a case sensitive operating system. So that means small NEW is different. Capital NEW is also different. By okay, so this is how we are going to go for the Linux things. Okay, so here, just to recall, Windows uses \, but Linux is using /, and there is a starting directory which is called as /. Okay, and inside that there are many directories, and if you are interested, spend some time and read about it and understand it. But maybe, okay, I will suggest you to, okay, mark this point somewhere. You do sometime after some maturity. But start using Linux, you start using it. But after some days of Linux usage, if you go and read it, then you would have really relate, like, so something of your practice with the theory, which will make the things much easier to learn, at least in my knowledge or in my way. Okay. So that's how I would suggest you to read maybe after some time also. This is what it is. The directory structure is starting at /. Under that, you are going to have some directories. Now, with this knowledge, let's start about going for some commands. So the first command that we are going to learn here is a command called as list files. In Windows, okay, by the way, you open any folder, automatically you see the files. But in Linux is a command line, and you will not be able to see automatically those particular files. Okay, so that is where, that's where a command will help you in doing that. So which is a ls command. Ls command is showing there are no files, by the way, because there are no files in this location. But whereas you can also get ls-capital A. Now there is an option to get the hidden files. Windows also you have hidden file concept. Okay, you can hide the files and folders, right? So Windows. So this is simple, another operating system. Don't make it imagine himself as different guy. Okay, but all you have in Windows, more or less plus or minus, you have in Linux. So Windows hidden files and folders. So I'm not sure how many of you are aware of. Okay, there is an option in the folder. If you can go and okay, click on any folder, you should be able to see some hidden files actually. Okay, so there is a concept for that. So the same thing here in Linux also, you have hidden files. And if you want to see the hidden files, which is capital A option, now there are some files coming in. These are hidden files. And how these files becomes hidden files? In Windows, you right click property of a file. Okay, in Windows, you right click Windows, hide a file. Okay, so how do you do that? You right click on properties, and you choose click on properties and choose the hidden and apply. Okay, this is the thing that you do. But whereas in But whereas in Linux, you simply create a file with a dot character that will be marked as a hidden file. So either in Windows or Linux, hidden file doesn't mean that you are protecting anything. By default, it will not show. But still, if you choose an option, it will show. Isn't it? Windows also, it is the same thing. Linux also, it is the same thing. There is no difference at all. Okay. So any file or directory starting with dot character is a hidden file in Linux. Now I can go for another option, which is -l option. -l option will try to show you a little bit more information about that file. Now, what is this information? You will see this later. Okay. What is this information and all? You will see that bit later. At this point of time, for you to understand, this is the size of the file, and this is when was the last time it was modified. When was the last time this file has been modified? So that is the information you have. It's not a created file. It's actually when is the last modified. Okay. Now ls command -A to show the hidden files and small l to show the more properties of the file. And what is these properties? You'll see that in the upcoming sessions. So this is where the ls command is all about. ls command to show the list of files. Yeah. Any questions? Any questions on ls? Now, ls may have many options. It may have 100 options also, right? So we may not need everything. And when needed, documentation you need to open. So I wanted to know that, for an example, I don't remember an option, but I am actually interested in seeing in the hard disk, okay, in which location this file is stored. I'm interested, just as an example, right? I need to go and find out man space ls linux, go there, and I will say some reference, by the way. So it's mostly comes as so print the index number of each file. So I think -i it is. Okay. So if I go and give -i option, so then it will show me in the motherboard which location it actually not motherboard, sorry, hard disk. In hard disk, in which location actually it is stored. It is showing you that some index path. So where it is. Okay. So that's where you have more options, by the way. So many options will be there. So it depends upon the need. You can go ahead, read it out, and understand it and learn it. Done. So let's move on to the next command then. Now we know that, so how to see the files, but now it's a Windows, right? Windows, you can navigate from one location to another location, double click on folder, you go inside, double click on file, it will open and things like that are there. Right? So first let's deal with the files. Now, if I want to know in which location I'm in, by the way, the very first place, in which location I'm in right now, if I want to know, so then pwd command will help. Pwd command is telling you, okay, in which location you are in. Okay. So the next is, okay, you can navigate from one location to another location. I want to go to some other location. Let's say I want to go to some location. Now cd command comes into picture, navigate to another location, cd/enter. So now pwd, where are you? /. Okay. Now cd, or let's say if I give ls, I will know that these are all the some directories. Now, how do I know these are all directories? I don't know. Okay. So maybe colors are coming. You will say that, blue color is something which is giving us. Now, let's say I don't have color. How do I determine this is a directory? Now, how can I know that whether I can go inside? Now, ls-l will help you. ls-l of any command, the starting it shows you directory or blue color. If so, no one modified anything on the system, it's a blue color. Okay, but someone modifies, let's say any color, we can't rely on the color. Okay, this is the ls-l is the right option. Okay, so that's where if I wanted to go in some location, let's say I wanted to go inside where. Now, where are you under? Under slash, your another location called as where. Okay, do ls, and maybe you go for, let's say, log. Now, where are you? pwd where log. But the command prompt which I am offering, I'm customizing. In normal Linux, you don't get this. Okay. So for an example, in the killer code itself, I'll take to some other tab. Okay. So now cd slash, if I go in pwd, okay, ls, now cd where you're having ls cd log you're having, okay, these guys are also showing it. So these guys are also showing it. But Red Hat usually generally will not show unless until we set it up. So in the image which I am using, I'm setting up the location which are every time you avoid the pwd command. Okay. So just to be showing you that location, where should be. So this customization is there. So because now let's say I'm trying to remove a file in log location, in where there is a log location, let's say there is some OPT log location is also there. I am thinking I'm removing in OPT location, but whereas I went and removed in log location, in where log location, because by default it will show only this much directory only. It will not show all the parent path. Okay, so that was the challenge. Okay, so just to avoid that particular challenge, so now I will give something like I'll show you Red Hat bare machine. I'll take it. Don't worry about it. What I'm doing. Red Hat / UBI. Okay. So here, yeah. So now in the prompt, so let's say cd/var log, cd/log. So which path it is showing? Only log only it is showing. And now I'm in which location? Where log or OPT log? I don't know. So I have to go with all the time pwd, right? So just to avoid this pwd command, so we are, or at least I just generally customize this prompt. So here, so this way you will come to know which location you are, right? So you can generally avoid the pwd command. So cd to go from one location to another location. Okay. Now what I have done, what was my journey? cd/, I do ls. I came to know there is a var directory because I know it. Now I enter there and do ls. I know that, so I have to go to the log by doing ls. See, it's like Windows. You're doing double click, right? But you're typing commands. Okay. So now inside that, I wanted to go for Amazon, something like that, right? So I'm not getting permission. That's okay. Journal at least. Okay. So I'm able to log. Now, rather than all this journey, okay, so I can give cd/enter. If I know the full path also, I can give type full path where log journal also I can do. Okay, you can give it you can get into a single shot also if you know the path. Okay, this is how it is going to be. So this is how it is. And the last option that you have in the CD is, okay, so CD, so CD ... Now, if you want to go to one directory before, okay, then what is the helpful option you have is ... So ... enter. So now what is your one location back? You're in var log journal. your one location back is var log. So enter, you're in var log. Now another one is /var log dot this one cd dot. Okay, so this is what it is. All right, so this is how you can do it. Now also there is one more shortcut option. Wherever you are in, every user will have one home directory. So cd enter wherever you're in. By the way, if we want to get into your home directory, you will get cd enter. It will take you to your home directory. And also home directories will generally shown by a tilde symbol to represent that you are in your home directory. It will not show that full path, whereas it will show you that symbol to tell that you are in a home directory. So this is what is we have a couple of commands. So the 3 commands that we learned today: ls command, cd command, and pwd command. The remaining commands will continue in tomorrow's session. So today we try to create a machine, logged into the machine, and we started executing some commands. We learned some 3 commands. Now I'm done with my practice. This machine of no use to me. Okay, it's unnecessary building. You can simply go ahead and terminate the instance so to avoid the building. So I'm just doing that. Yeah, that's all from my side for today. Any questions? Please go ahead.
Hey Raghu.
Yeah, yes, go ahead.
Yeah, what is home directory by any chance? If you told, I did not.
What directory? Sorry.
Home directory, you said at the very end, you said home directory, right?
Yeah. In Windows also you have your home path, right? C drive users. Your user.
Okay, user.
Home
Okay,
directory.
okay, got it. Okay. Thank you.
Hey Raghu.
Yeah.
So in this case, we're using killer coda machine, right, or the terminal. So
We're not using killer coda. I just hosted the documentation there, killer coda.
okay, so it's just for the practice session, right?
We are using our own box only.
And on the EC2 machine, that will be using it for other tasks, correct?
For practice. So there is a documentation in killer coda,
Mm-hmm.
and you'll be practicing in your own terminal.
All right, fine.
Any other questions?
Hi Raghu.
Yeah.
I have experience of 2 years in software. Due to personal reasons, I have resigned myself. My past designation is programmer analyst. Is it okay with that?
Yeah, it should be fine.
Okay. And my past project is related to GCP, data migration processes. In that we use it to create DAGs by scripting scripts. Is it similar in AWS and that?
Correct.
Okay, we will learn it from scratch, right?
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Raghu, so the thing is, like, let's say I have a VPS, okay?
What you have, sorry?
VPS. So since, like, on the AWS, the E2 that you showed, like, it is charging us, I believe, like, on the hourly basis. So what if, like, until or unless we are not deploying any major project, I mean, can I practice on the VPS itself, or like should I go with the E2?
So start with EC2. It's okay. What is the other one? I did not got it.
VPS.
VPS.
Yeah, it's same, like, it's same to the EC2. The I mean, you can just Google it. You can you will get to know.
But where are you getting this?
I mean, I have a couple of side hosted somewhere. So like I have the Digital Ocean VPS right now with me. So
You're already doing plus things. Why you need to do discussion? Linux is Linux anywhere.
yeah. No, what I was thinking, like let's say like in the future, like if you are like building or deploying any major project, then I can go to the EC to the thing that you showed right now.
Yeah, you have to. After a couple of days, we start the project. You have to get into here only. I don't know whether how your VPS thing will work.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Thanks.
Yeah. Okay. I don't see any more hands. Thanks everyone, and see you in.
Hey, hi Raghu. Where we can find the recordings, the last this day
Just text the
class.
organizer, they'll send you the link, by the way. So whoever has sent you this link to join, right? Just reach out.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye. Good day.